Welcome to Friends in Fiction, 5 best-selling authors and the stories. Novelists Mary Kay Andrews, Kristen Harmel, Christy Woodson Harvey, Patty Callahan Henry, and Mary Alice Monroe are 5 longtime friends with more than 80 published books to their credit. In 2020, they created Friends in Fiction to provide author interviews and fascinating insider talk about publishing and writing, and to highlight independent bookstores. These friends discuss the books they've written, the books they're reading now, and the art of storytelling. If you love books and you're curious about the writing world, you're in the right place.
Hi, everyone. Mary Kay Andrews here. Before we get started, I want to welcome all of our new viewers joining us tonight for the first time from Parade.com. And I want to introduce you to a very special person, Megan Nelly, Senior Editor and Books Editor at Parade Magazine. Hi, Megan.
Hello. How's it going?
Good.
For coming.
Of course. Yeah. So I'm, like I was introduced, I'm Megan Melly, and I'm the Senior Editor here at Parade Magazine, and at Parade.com. I'm the books editor as well. So we are really, really excited to announce a new partnership between Friends in Fiction and Parade.com. So every Wednesday, one of these lovely women from Friends in Fiction will publish a new essay on Parade.com, writing about lessons she's learned from life or just that week during the pandemic. And then later on that evening, they'll hop on Facebook Live and discuss those themes. So I think it's going to be a really great partnership to bring Parade's readership, which overlaps a ton with all of your readerships as well.
Megan, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And Kristen Harmel is responsible for that. So
Yes.
We love
all
Kristen,
that
yes.
for Kristen.
We're just so
Thank
happy
you.
to be joining you, Megan.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we're looking forward to this.
Thanks, Megan. We're
Yeah.
Megan.
Come back soon.
And thank you, Parade.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. And now, of course, welcome everyone else to our Wednesday night, folks, to this special, it's almost Valentine's Day edition of Friends in Fiction, where we're going to be joined tonight by the wildly popular and just plain wild best-selling romantic comedy author, Susan Elizabeth Phillips, who will be our special guest. And we're the 6 of us, 5 of us plus Sep, as we call her, we're going to play my game that I made up. And it's called Literary Spin the Bottle. I make up the rules, and I decide who wins.
Sounds fair.
I'm not nervous at all.
No
We
fear.
love
My
wild
game-
cards.
Be afraid.
Right. My game, my rules. Okay, first, let's meet the players. Do I sound like Wink Martindale? Let's meet the players of the Fab Five. Okay, I am Mary Kay Andrews, and I'm going to introduce you to Kristen Harmel. So, Kristen, my question for you is, for Valentine's Day, which do you prefer, champagne or perfume?
Well, since I literally wrote the book on champagne, I'm going to go with champagne.
I think we all would have won if we placed money on that.
Yes, that's true. Plus, I enjoy drinking my happiness. So perfume doesn't taste as good. So I'm Kristen Harmel, and I would like to ask Christy Woodson Harvey, dark or milk chocolate?
Definitely milk chocolate. And now that you said that you literally wrote the book on champagne, I'm like, I should be writing a book about chocolate, right? I mean,
We're all
I
really
love-
No. I get to do that. No.
I call French fries.
I'll just do the research. Thank you very much.
Okay, well then maybe I'll do peanut butter because that's my second favorite thing. Okay, so I'm Christy Woodson Harvey, and I'm going to introduce you to Patty Callahan Henry. Patty, would you rather your sweetie gift you with daisies or diamonds?
I mean, is that even real?
If you say daisies, we know you're lying.
First of all, my face already hurts from laughing. But Definitely diamonds, because diamonds last forever and daisies like droop and have smell after like a week.
I don't
So
even smell that
I'm
good.
just gonna go with diamonds. And I forgot, I'm Patty Callahan Henry. And okay, I'm going to ask Mary Alice Monroe, breakfast in bed or romantic candlelight dinner at home?
Ooh, okay. I'm Mary Alice Monroe, and I definitely am going to go for that candlelit dinner. And you can toss in a few of those diamonds while you're at it.
Like diamonds in your
And my
champagne
and
glass.
have my
diamonds
daisies.
is kind of what I go. All right, Mary
You
Kay.
can have my diamond. You can have my daisies. And then
Oh,
I'll
well, you know what? I do like daisies, but I prefer diamonds. Thank you very much. Okay, Mary Kay, kisses or back rubs?
Well, I kind of like having my back kissed.
Ooh.
Oh,
Interesting.
special twist.
Spicy.
And if you're with a man for a not long enough time, he knows all the right places.
Oh,
That's why you
okay.
write those good love scenes.
Am I right?
Oh my goodness, we're getting a little girls, rein it in.
Okay. Okay, ladies, should we bring in Susan Elizabeth Phillips or not?
Nah.
What do you think her answer would be?
You've been waiting for a long time?
Yes, you would never let me in.
Hey, you're not one of the Fab Five. You need to run along now.
Obviously not.
Sean, take her out of here.
We have,
You're going to kick me out now?
Yes.
but it's all right. You get treats in the green room.
Sean's not kicking
Right.
me out.
No, Sean, somebody give that woman some of those Mama Geraldine's cheese straws
Oh,
we
Sean.
that we
Love you,
keep
boy.
in the green room. She won't go. Oh, thank God she went away.
You, man, get rid of her.
Oh,
Keep on snacking, y'all. And don't forget that when you order for Mama G's, like we know Susan is eating in the green room right now, use the Fab5 coupon to get a 20% off discount.
Okay, and in a few minutes, we will have to bring Susan back in, and we'll hear all the juicy details about her upcoming June release, which is When Stars Collide. And yes, for all there it is. Isn't that a great cover?
it is.
Such a
So
great cover.
good.
Yeah, we have to ask her. She's got a new cover look, which I think is so fun.
It's great.
And for all of you Sep fans out there, it is a new installment in her wildly popular Chicago Stars episode series.
But before we bring Susan on and the fun and games commence, we want to thank our newest Friends and Fiction partner, Page One Books. Page One offers a subscription package, which is basically a personalized service that hand selects books for you based on your preference and their knowledge. So like we say all the time here, nothing replaces the personal touch of a real live independent bookstore. And this is no exception. So your books are not chosen by an algorithm, but they're chosen by a real live person.
Yeah, and the way that it works is really cool. So you can choose a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You fill out a short questionnaire and tell them all about you, what your literary loves are, what your likes and dislikes are, kind of like a dating service, but for books, right? And then Page One does their magical literary matchmaking, and you receive a book hand-chosen for you, beautifully wrapped with a special literary treat inside.
And first-time subscribers get 10% off with the code FAB5, which doesn't include Susan Elizabeth Phillips. But we have more information on our Friends and Fiction Facebook page where you can find everything.
You know, we've got a lot to get to tonight, but first we want to whet your appetite for our own Patty's stunning upcoming release, Surviving Savannah. So we're going to show you this beautiful trailer, and we're also going to remind you that we would love it if you would pre-order Surviving Savannah from tonight's bookseller, Booktown in Manasquan, New Jersey, where you will get a 10% discount on all of our books, including Susan's brand new paperback, Dance Away With Me, and her forthcoming When Stars Collide.
I'm so excited.
Sean, roll the tape, baby. Discovering untold stories is like having a great secret whispered in your ear. And this story is one of those secrets. My new novel, Surviving Savannah, is inspired by the true and forgotten-to-time saga of a luxury steamship with the nickname the Titanic of the South. But her real name was the steamship Pulaski. In the middle of the night on June 14th, with close to 200 passengers on board, this steamship exploded off the coast of North Carolina. About 1/3 of the passengers and crews survived. When I learned about this little-known story, I was immediately fascinated because I realized how close to home it was, right here in my towns of Savannah, Georgia, and Bluffton, South Carolina, and how its tale had never been fully told. How do we survive the surviving? Who do we choose to become after tragedy? After years of research, reading, writing, and digging, I finally put together the events of that doomed journey. With a dual timeline and a modern-day museum curator designing an exhibit of the artifacts, alongside the stories of the Longstreet family in 1838, I look much closer at our collective ideas that survival merits some kind of worthiness, that everything happens for a reason, and that our lives are destined to end up in certain ways. All with the backdrop of the beloved and mystical city of Savannah, then and now.
Oh my goodness. Oh, got chills everywhere. That's
So good.
Seeing that gives me chills every single time, even if I don't like watching myself on the screen.
You were beautiful.
And I keep thinking about this book as the story that wouldn't leave me alone, the story that wanted to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that it's out in 3 weeks and 6 days. Who's counting?
Who's counting?
And tonight, if you pre-order, we have these adorable Friends and Fiction luggage tags.
I love them.
Can you see?
Yeah.
I know.
Yes,
I think
Yeah, they're awesome.
and then you can put your
So
name on the
cute.
back. And so if you order from Booktown, and when you get the book, you will get this amazing luggage tag. So there you go.
Such a good book.
And
The
you're going
book
to
is
need
so good.
that luggage tag because soon, one day, we're all going to be on tour together
Yeah.
and you're going to have to come see us wherever we are. So you're going to have that luggage.
Yeah,
Bring your luggage tag.
Special bonuses for anyone who has the luggage tag. That means
Yeah.
you read the book.
That's right.
I keep saying this is luggage tag is for your own journey, which hopefully will be much safer than.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody
Patty.
I loved it. It was so great. It was a really nice
It's
trailer.
beautiful, Patty. It is.
And the book is beautiful too. We're so excited about it.
All right. Well, Sean, I think you'd better let Susan out of the green room before she scarfs up all the many minutes so fine.
Yay!
She's bored.
Well, well,
so glad you're here.
Thank you.
made it.
You're hilarious.
shower, washed my hair, put on some makeup, but I did get to see the trailer. That was fabulous.
Wasn't it great?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, speaking of new books, Susan, we are so excited about your newest one, When Stars Collide. And you're the author of the New York Times bestselling author of 24-ish books, right? We weren't totally sure, that bridge that gap between romance, romantic comedy, women's fiction, all the good stuff that we love. So can you tell us a little bit about When Stars Collide?
Yes, I can. You know how when we talk about our books, we need to have our elevator pitch for the book. And I wrote mine this afternoon, but I haven't memorized it yet. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know this is so lame, but my memory isn't what it used to be. So When Stars Collide is the diva and the quarterback, right? Right there, you kind of know what's going to happen. He is the Chicago Stars backup quarterback. All his life, he's been number 2. She is number 1 opera superstar Olivia Shore. And she is a soprano with issues of her own. They are trapped together on a 1-month press junket promoting a luxury watch, and it is not going to go well. This book, this was one of my easier books to write because I felt like going in, I had a clear sense of what was. Once I said the diva and the quarterback, it just kind of all was clear to me. So this was really a fun book to write. And if any readers don't like it, it's because they're bad readers and have no sense of humor.
100%.
That's completely.
Talk about perfect timing because it's Valentine's Day and Super Bowl combined.
Yeah,
So it's absolutely
exactly.
perfect.
Yes, but the book does not come out until the end of June. So it's going to be a while. Instead, right now, the mass market is out on Dance Away With Me, which has been out for a while. But what I think is
good.
Such a great book.
Thank you. With the mass market paperback is this is showing up in, Walmart and CVS and Kroger's and all the places where I think we find new readers.
Yeah. So true.
Don't you find that with your books?
Yes,
They go to the
totally.
mass market.
And the price point is so great too.
It is. Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you, Susan. At some point, some years ago, we did a very entertaining event together in Chicago.
You're not going to bring this up again, are
I'm
you?
not that whole story. No, that's for another night.
Okay.
I distinctly remember you telling me you were not going to do a book a year. So, isn't this a book a year?
Mm-mm. No, there were. I don't think I think I've only done one book a year in my entire career. I am really, really a slow writer. And I think a lot of it is my approach because I don't know what I'm going to write until I'm in the story. And then I constantly have to rewrite. Mm-hmm. But I think this one took me about 21 months when Stars Collide. I think Dance Away With Me, there was a 1-year gap when I wasn't writing. And then that one took a full 2 years. So I just wish I could write faster, but it doesn't happen.
But they're gems, my darling, when they
It's
come
working
out.
for you.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I wouldn't change anything.
And you're known for your romantic comedy, but there's some serious stuff in Dance Away With Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the heroine she is a young widow, a midwife, and she's in a state of grief at the beginning of the book. She's decided to isolate herself in this little town in Tennessee on top of Runaway Mountain. And all she wants is to be left alone. She's not in a good state at the beginning of the book. And then the hero, who's kind of a grouchy bear at the beginning, is a very famous street artist, kind of going through a crisis in his life. All he wants is to be left alone. But obviously that cannot happen. I like being able to go between writing real rom-coms, which When Stars Collide is, and then more women's fiction, which we have in Dance Away With Me. But one thing I always will have is a happy ending. That is important to me.
I'm with you.
We need more happy endings.
Yes. All right. Enough of this serious stuff. Let's play Spin the Literary Bottle.
Bottle.
Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to go around the globe here. I want you to tell me who was your first or favorite literary crush. Kristen?
My first literary crush was John Delar from the Clan of the Caveman series.
Which is a pretty sexy book.
Awesome.
I don't think I understood what throbbing members were when I was reading it the first time. I think I was too
brutality, actually.
Yes, but I mean, really, they get sexy later on. I don't think I knew it. I was way too young to be reading those books.
Hilarious.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Christy.
Okay, so I'm quizzing you guys. So I chose Todd Wilkins. Does anyone know who Todd Wilkins is or remember? Okay, he was, I think either I think he was Jessica Wakefield's boyfriend, not Elizabeth. It might have been Elizabeth Wakefield's boyfriend.
I don't know who Elizabeth
the
Wakefield's
Sweet Valley
Sweet
High.
Valley.
Oh,
We should have guessed.
And
We
Todd
know
was like,
after my time.
you know, he was like the handsome, like football star, and
Yes.
you know, he was just everything. You know, that you just wanted to. So yeah, that was my first crush, Todd.
Okay, Patty.
Well, we should have known that about you, Christy. We know how you
Yes.
feel about Sweet
Yes.
Valley High.
Right. Mhm.
So we're being honest, and I would like to pick some hunky guy, but my first literary crush, the guy I wished was mine, I'll quiz you guys. Do you know who he is? Ned Nickerson.
I totally
Forever, forever. Nancy
No.
Drew.
dibs. I had
Yeah.
dibs on him.
Was he Nancy Drew?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I forgot his name.
Ned Nickerson.
It was a long time
How could you
ago.
forget Ned Nickerson?
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Alice.
Well, I'm going to predate y'all. Oh, go ahead,
When you
Susan.
think about Ned Nickerson in Nancy Drew, he had absolutely no personality. I think we imposed our own dream on Ned.
That's so
But yet-
true, actually.
Susan, he didn't need a personality. He had a convertible.
I was just going to say he had a car. What else do you need?
How do you remember all this, Patty? It's crazy.
Because he was my first literary crush.
You never forget your first love.
That's true.
I actually thought Nancy had the coupe. I love the word coupe.
Had the roadster.
She had the
She had a roadster coupe, right?
Ooh, but I think Bess and George, didn't Georgie? So, I don't know. Someone else had a.
Nancy had a
Yeah.
coupe.
That's
I
a
love
great
that
word.
I know. All right, Mary Alice, you're up.
Well, I'm going to predate all you girls. My first literary crush was Peter Pan. Oh my gosh. I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but I left my window open for him till I was much too old. In fact, I still crack it open just a little bit. Oh, he was so great. Now there's a boy with a lot of personality.
Yeah.
All right, Susan, what's yours? Your
Well,
first
it
literary crush.
was Ned, but I actually had another one. You guys might not be quite old enough to remember the Rosamund Dujardin books. The
Oh my
Pan
God, I love those.
What was the
Mike and Penny. Mike was an early hero of mine. Again, I think Mike, if I read those books again, didn't have a lot of personality, but I loved him and I loved those books. Double Date. I can't think of the second one, and the third was Double Wedding, where they spent their entire college career getting ready for their weddings to be moms and housewives. No mention of a career.
I love those books. I read them all out, checked them out of the library in junior high, and I always thought I was going to go to a mixer because they were always going to mixers.
They went to mixers, yes, yeah.
I always thought I was going to go to Neverland.
Yeah.
Poor Mary.
You still have some time, Mary
I
Alice.
think the afterlife is
I
what
was going to say, Mary Kay, if you want to go to a mixer, I can make that happen for you.
I just want to go somewhere. I don't care where.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you mine. Mine even goes beyond Susan's with Rosamund Dujardin. That's a blast from the past. My first literary crush was Lori, the rich neighbor from Little Women.
Okay.
I
Yes.
Really upset when he took up with Amy instead of Joe.
I thought Joe was a
Never
fool.
got over it, did you?
No.
No, I never did. She has to end up with a grumpy German old professor bear.
Mhm.
So no,
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that was a
yes.
bad mistake Louisa May Alcott made.
yeah, that was not right. Okay, now we're going to ask, what was the first or favorite romance you remember reading?
Oh, easy.
Oh.
Ma'am, what do you got?
Easy. It's The Flame and the Flower by Kathleen Woodiwiss. And I remember I was in graduate school. My sister Ruthie sent me this book. Yeah. And it holds up, first of all. If you read that book today, it holds up.
Does
But
it
my
really?
sisters, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. She's really a good writer. And she sent me this book, and it was dog-eared. I mean, really, you could tell the pages were well worn. And there's a little note paper on the top said, "You must read this," underlined so many times.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God.
like, what is this? And I didn't know what a historical romance was. This was back in the day. And I started reading it, and the writing's really good. And then oh my God, I was hooked. Years later, Carrie Farron, the editor, Susan, you know very well.
Yeah.
I was one of the RWA meetings, and Kathleen Woodward was there.
Yep.
And Carrie came over and said, "I know you love her. Come, I got her autograph." So I have it framed in my office. Kathleen Woodward.
Great.
That's
Okay, Patty, what about yours?
The first time I remember reading a book and being like, look at that romance. And is Thornbirds. Did y'all read Thornbirds?
Oh, and the TV series was fabulous.
Yeah, I didn't watch the TV series. I was smart enough to know it would probably ruin
it was good.
But I'm still I still sometimes think about that book. Maggie Cleary and Ralph, and her father's name was Patty.
And the priest.
And
that priest.
Yeah, it was Father Ralph. I left off the word father.
Yeah, I know. It was Father Ralph.
Forbidden Love.
And
yeah,
my daughter's name is Megan, and I'm wondering if the subconscious is a strange thing. I don't know. But yeah, I think I read that book more than 3 or 4 times when I was in high school. So
how about
probably
you, Chris?
not a good role model for a love story, but what is?
Well, speaking of that, so I was trying to decide if I think this technically qualifies as a romance, but we're just going to go with it. So mine was Garden of Lies by Eileen, whose name I know her really well. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Is it Gouge? Gouge. And I know her really well, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name. That's so embarrassing. But oh my gosh, I love that book so much. And that's really full circle, because before she wrote Garden of Lies, guess what she used to ghostwrite?
What?
Sweet Valley.
Sweet Valley High.
Oh no, she did not.
She did too. When I met her, I was like, oh my gosh. She's the runaway bestseller of all these amazing novels, but she wrote Sweet Valley.
More importantly,
everybody starts with something.
That's right.
Okay, Kristen, here we go with something weird. I know.
It's totally weird. I'm going back to Clan of the Cave Bear. Okay, so the first book was, as Mary Alice said, like not romantic, right? Like violent and whatever. But starting with the second book, it was a love story, but like I mean, it's been a really long time since I read it, so perhaps I'm remembering it wrong. But it was a love story about this woman who's kind of empowered in a time before that was a thing, I think. So I don't know. I really liked Clan of the Cave Bear. And what is not to like about the 6'6", blonde-haired, blue-eyed John Delar? I ask you all.
I know.
I rest my case.
Well, I read a lot of Barbara Cartland when I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And my favorite one, I sometimes have to look up what the title of it was, but in it, it's a governess, and she's shy and meek, and she goes to work for the alpha male, and she's pudgy, or, I forget how they worded it in a Barbara Cartland. But every night she's so upset. She goes skinny dipping in the pool and swims laps. And at the end of the book, she gets out of the pool, and the hero of the book is there. The love interest is there. And she gets out of the pool dripping wet, and she's skinny, and she hasn't noticed.
Of course.
She hasn't noticed that she's no longer pudgy, but I have to tell you, I know.
It's all that swimming.
I know. I tried it. The first really sexy romance novel I read was Forever Amber by Kathleen Winsor. Any of you all read that?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had to read it in the library because Mother wouldn't let me read it. So I hid in the back of the library to read it.
Oh, no.
I love that.
The whole thing there. Yeah.
And I have to tell you that I interviewed Kathleen Woodward when I was a newspaper reporter for the Atlanta Constitution. And I was, very snobby. I'm like, I'm going to go. And literally, she was signing books in the frozen foods at Kroger.
Oh my God.
And I was so snobby about this romance writer signing books in a card table at the Kroger. Let me tell you, She had diamonds that spanned her neck. She was wearing a Chanel suit, and I said to myself, there might be something to this.
She didn't have daisies. She only had diamonds.
Yeah.
She didn't have daisies.
Oh, that woman can write a book, I'll tell you. That
Yeah.
woman can write a book.
Yeah. Okay, now I want to hear your favorite couple from one of your own. Your favorite romantic couple.
Wait. What was Susan?
Wait, is that an answer?
You're not one of us. You don't know.
Block me out. And I have many things to say here. Number one, a lot of questions about where I am right now. I'm sitting on a balcony in outside our condo in Southern California, and it's cold. I mean, it's not Midwest cold, but it's cold for here. But if I go inside, I age rapidly in the light in there. So I'm sacrificing because I'm shallow, basically. But Barbara Cartland. Do any of you remember? You probably don't. This would have been in the early days of Romantic Times at a conference. Barbara Cartland came to speak, and she had huge hat on in one of her gowns, and she gave us a lecture, not on her books, but on vitamins. The reasons we should be taking vitamins. It was the most bizarre thing. I will never forget that.
She lived to be 100 or something, didn't she? So,
No. She wasn't wrong.
vitamins.
But in terms of the first actual romance I read was one of Violet Winsper's books that was packaged with Tide laundry detergent. It was a promotion they did, and they shrink wrapped this a Harlequin romance on the Tide box. And until then, I was much too snobbish to ever read a Harlequin romance. And of course, I devoured that, and from then on, it was just open season. But I really remember that shrink wrap Tide box.
I love it that they packaged the dirty book with a box of Tide.
Oh, this was not a dirty book.
I just love that women were at home doing laundry and reading their romance novel while they were waiting for their laundry to be done.
What if they thought that the women were reading the romance
Right, they're
novel?
reading while they're doing laundry because there's nothing else.
You know, I bet that was a really great promotion for
I
Harlequin.
bet it was.
That's true. It was. I'm actually kind of thinking it would be great now.
All kinds of women who think, I don't want to read that kind of book, and then they get one and they're tearing through it.
They're hooked.
So true. So true.
Okay. Favorite romantic couple from one of your own novels and the reason that they're your favorite. Patty?
So it will forever be C.S. Lewis and Joy Davidman, but they're real. Mm-hmm. So for fictional, it would definitely be Nick and Amy from Losing the Moon. College sweethearts who lose each other, and the way they find each other is that her son starts dating his daughter.
Love it.
And I still, and so does Christy, still wonders what happened to Nick and Amy.
But she won't tell me.
What number book was it?
That was my first book. That was my very first published novel. Came out in 2004. And they gave it a new cover last year, so more people can meet Nick and Amy. Yeah.
Okay, Mary Alice, you're up.
It would have to be Kara and Brett from the Beach House. And they just started a dynasty, so to speak. But they are special to me because I was about the same age as Kara, in her early 40s. She was just hitting 40. And so it's a second chance. She was a woman who worked so hard and her career was so important to her that along the way she forgot to get married and have kids. It was sort of all of a sudden she was 40 and her life had changed. And Brett was a good old low country boy. And to my mind, there's nothing sexier than a low country boy. And he wooed her with his charm. And when she chose him, it was a sense of real knowing, not just that he was the one, but that it was time. Yeah. So I think it was maybe the best love story I wrote, and it'll always be my favorite.
Oh. Kristen?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention Clan of the Cave Bear again. Don't worry.
Thank God. Go over those bears.
So for me, it was Rose and Jacob in The Sweetness of Forgetting, which was my 2012 novel. So they meet as teenagers in World War II Paris, and he tells her, as long as there are stars in the sky, I will love you. And he means it. So life separates them, but every time she looks up at a night sky, she knows he's there. She knows he loves her. And also, on a personal note, the year after the book came out, my husband actually proposed to me. Well, my now husband proposed to me on the street outside Rose's apartment in Paris using that line. So I think it will always have special meaning for me. Yeah.
We'll always have Paris.
I'll always have Paris. Yeah.
I think he outkicked his coverage there.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Christy, tell us.
I think for me, this was a hard one, but I think it has to be Ainsley and Jack from the Peachtree Bluff series, which I think is kind of a funny choice because it's definitely like a later in life romance for them. So it maybe was not the one that would come to mind first, but I love first love stories and first love coming back to the light. And Jack and Ainsley have a really big secret between them that sort of bonds them even through all these years that they're separated. So when they come back together, there are a lot of really grown-up things involved in them being together, but they know that they can't be apart. And I love stories like that. So
Yeah, I think my favorite from mine is Anna Jane and Mason from Spring Fever, because I love a story where exes are reunited. Yeah. And this one has the bonus appeal of being the protagonist. Anna Jane's first serious crush is Mason when she's a little girl. And she's best friends with Mason's little sister. So that's mine. What about you, Susan?
I'm really, really surprised at your answers because genuinely, right now, my favorite couple is Thad and Olivia from When Stars Collide. But that's because they're the couple that I just finished. I mean, I truly don't. I'm shocked. I think you're all bad book mothers to be able to pick out a couple you like the most. I
Can't help it.
thunderstruck. I'm just thunderstruck.
Have we disappointed you?
Oh,
Susan.
I'm so attached to every one of those couples. Pulling out one, you're probably bad mothers to your children too.
That's probably true. I mean, I think this is a very revealing night.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
But I love the dynamic between Thad and Olivia because she is so powerful, and messing around with an opera star, a woman who is used to having this commanding presence on the stage, and this great jock. One of his big conflicts is he's absolutely the most beautiful man in the world. He hates his looks. He's tried everything to mess them up, but nothing works. They're just a really, really fun couple to me. But then I have loved all those couples. And frankly, giving you all writing advice, I think if you don't love all your couples equally, you need to work on your craft a little bit.
I think you're right.
Hey, Sean, could you take her out?
I was just going to say, who invited her?
Did somebody? Did we not give you enough cookies? Or
I think maybe we skip the cookies and let's give that girl some champagne.
I told you I should have given her the cinnamonies, not the cheese straws.
No, we said that wrong thing back there.
That was the issue. Okay, now, everybody loves a good meet cute story. I didn't know what a meet cute story was until my agent told me. So the meet cute is when the protagonist of your novel meets the love interest. Is that, Susan, do you have a train going right through your house? Oh, she's on mute because she actually does.
Yeah, I muted myself, but no, the train's not here yet. It'll be along soon, though.
Okay, I can't wait. Get on it. All right, everybody loves a good meet cute story. And that's the scene where boy meets girl. So I've asked everybody to write their own meet cute story. And Kristen is up first with her meet cute story.
Now I'm paranoid.
Aww.
paranoid because Susan's going to judge this too and find me to be wanted in the wife department as well.
But
Okay,
you know who
ready?
your favorite child is, and so do I. So we know she can't really criticize us about
that is true. Yes, yes. Okay, so ready? She was a struggling writer. He, the communications manager of a nonprofit. Both were in other relationships when they met, but their two mutual friends, Chad and Wendy, secretly believed that the little blonde Kristen and the tall, dark, and handsome Jason were meant to be together. And so they continued to invite them places together where Kristen and Jason would talk and laugh, but there was always something standing in the way. Until one day, there wasn't. On a balmy night out with Wendy, Chad, and some other friends at the classic romantic establishment, World of Beer, Jason reached for Kristen's hand under the table. Surprised, she looked up. Their eyes met. An hour later, they were making out in the parking lot like teenagers, despite the fact that they were in their mid-30s. And a year and a half later, he was proposing in Paris, and now they're living happily ever after. And also, today's his birthday, so I am a horrible wife because I'm here rather than celebrating with him.
Happy birthday, Jason.
Happy birthday.
That was adorable.
That was great. That was a really good birthday gift to him.
Yeah. Mary Alice, would you like to tell us about your Valentine's Day, your meet cute?
I sure would. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's my darling boy. She was a young editor in Encyclopedia Britannica just out of college. He was a young filmmaker from New York. It was an icy cold winter night in Chicago, and fondue parties were all the rage. I just dated myself. She enters the room, lots of corporate types in suits, but across the room, she sees a staggeringly handsome man staring at her. Velvet pants, longish black hair. Think Johnny Depp, only better looking. Their eyes meet and it's a thunderbolt. She thinks, oh no, I'm not ready for this. She avoids him all night. Then waiting in line for the only bathroom, she hears his voice behind her. Hello. Think voice of Alan Rickman. I sigh. I know I'm doomed. I look up and smile. 1 year later, we were married. He goes to medical school. She goes to graduate school. Now he's a psychiatrist and she's a novelist. She's no longer young and he doesn't look like Johnny Depp, but they still love each other and fondue.
So sweet.
That's so cute. I love it. I love it.
Doesn't it sound like telegraph, old-timey telegraph music?
It sounds like somebody's trying to message us from space.
Maybe
Not
they
coming
are.
from me because I don't have my phone close and I muted myself. So
You
I
did.
am not the
Yeah.
guilty party here.
You need to mute yourself again. You are in our space once again. Okay. Christy, tell us about your meet cute.
Okay. As the college co-ed and the older, wiser dental student pre-gamed for the Kappa Delta Dukes of Hazzard cocktail, he taught her that wasn't just a Jessica Simpson movie. It was a real TV show way back in the 80s before she was born. And she taught him how she cut an old pair of jeans to make Daisy Dukes and pulled the threads to make the fringe on the bottom. Neither of them were looking for anything serious, but between the cowboy boots and jean shorts, smoky dance floor, and cheap vodka, they fell in love. As the Duke boys would say, faster than a bee-stung stallion.
Whoa.
This was a very fun exercise.
We might have to all do a short story and do an anthology, right?
We're onto
Patty,
something.
yeah, Patty, please enlighten us about your
All
meet.
right. So in the late 1980s, as REO Speedwagon and Madonna sing from the radio, there's a bus full of frat boys and their dates headed to North Carolina for a ski trip. The brown-eyed, curly-haired girl was on a date with another boy. But the blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy at the back of the bus kept snapping pictures of her on a camera. Yes, a real camera. 3 years later, both of them were in Atlanta in graduate school, and they ran into each other in a very classy bar with friends. The boy sent his Auburn football quarterback pal over to say, Pat wants to ask you out. I said, oh, That is so nice. But I have a boyfriend. But I'd really love to be friends with Pat Henry. 4 years later, they were married, and now they have 3 kids, 1 grandchild, and their 30th anniversary is in a couple days.
Oh,
Aw.
yay!
All right, Susan, you're up. Tell us about Mr. Bill.
His friends gave him 2 choices. He could go out on a blind date with either the blonde English teacher or the brunette drama teacher. Of course, he chose the blonde. Fortunately, the blonde suggested they go ice skating, not knowing he'd never been on a pair, and it didn't go well. Alas, this left him with the consolation prize of the blonde English teacher's roommate, the brunette drama teacher, who happened to be me. I still remember him standing at my parents' front door, a lock of brown hair falling over his forehead, a cigarette dangling from the corner of his mouth. 50 years later, the cigarettes are long gone, but fortunately not the hair. And the blonde English teacher and her husband remain our lifelong friends. The end.
Oh,
cute.
we all love your picture the best.
Yeah.
You win.
He made my costume. He decided he was going to go as Batman. He told me I had to be Robin. I said I wasn't going to be Robin. And so he just went out and made the costume for me. And then I was Robin.
Oh.
But the funny thing about that is he'd like to wear it to like neighborhood parties. The little kids would cry every time they saw him because he's 6'3" and with that mask. It was huge.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. He was the smart, serious jock, shy with the ladies. She was a madcap, class cut-up who liked to torment him in high school typing class by taking her toe and pulling his sock down with her toe. They were just friends until graduation weekend, when they took her mom's station wagon and a paper bag full of popcorn to see a John Wayne Western at the Skyview Drive-In. And while the bullets were flying on screen, things started to heat up in that station wagon.
I have an edit for you on that story.
Oh, you do you?
Yeah. What about while the bullets were flying on screen, the sparks were flying in that station?
Oh.
And they still are.
And they still are.
Like it.
4 years later.
Awesome.
Okay. Guys, we're running out of time. But
yes.
we have some questions. People are having questions. Who wants to ask Susan a question about her age?
Well, how about instead of that, we jump right to Susan. What are you reading lately? And can you tell us what you've loved?
The book I really liked recently was, have any of you read Unmarriageable? Oh my gosh. Mary Alice, I think that's your phone being too close to your mic. I'm just saying. Yes. Sanaya Kamal's book, Unmarriageable. It's Pride and Prejudice set in Pakistan, of all places. And it is just a delightful read. I love books that give you a glimpse into other cultures. This is one of them. And this really sticks close to Pride and Prejudice, too.
Awesome.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Great recommendation.
Christy, you've got a recommendation.
Yes, it's perfect for Valentine's Day. It's called The Love Proof by Madeline Henry, and it just came out yesterday. And oh my gosh, talking about a different world. It's about a woman who is like the next big thing in physics. And she sort of sets out to prove the truth of love and how to see time and the connection between those two things. Anyway, I could not put this book down. I read it in like a day. And I'm actually interviewing Madeline on Monday night virtually at Blue Willow Books. So y'all come see us. It's going to be great. I have so many questions for her about this book. And like, it just fascinated me. It was one of those books that I got finished with and I was like Googling all these things. It was great.
Well, speaking of books we've loved, this is the perfect time to remind you all about our Friends in Fiction partner, Page One Books, where first-time subscribers get a 10% discount when they sign up.
And Susan, as the author of 24-ish novels, would you care to share a writing tip with our audience? And honestly, with the five of us, really.
Well, the five of you have this one down, but I get this a lot from people who are newer, and that is the old, you have to wait for inspiration to write every day. And I always say, you write by writing, you write by putting your butt in the chair. Inspiration isn't going to happen necessarily when you're attending workshops or meetings or thinking, or you have to just sit down and do the work. And it doesn't make any difference how many books you've written. It can be really scary facing that blank page. You just put your butt in the chair and do the work.
So sad.
Good advice.
I was hoping you were going to give us the secret Writers Club magic sauce.
I know. Isn't that true though? It's such a basic kind of thing, but you have to work through fear to get to that point, to be able to look at that screen and sit there in discomfort.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was counting on you to tell us how to love our characters better, since none of us are doing it well enough.
That's right.
The therapy for that, I think.
Okay, we've got just a few more announcements
Second
tonight.
week in a row that I need therapy on the show. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Last week with the planes, and so here we go.
We should bring a therapist on. Maybe they can help us.
Just counsel us live. Yeah.
Okay, we've got just a few announcements to get through now. But all of you Susan Elizabeth fans, don't worry. Susan's going to definitely get in the last word because we don't really have a choice in that, do we?
Sean could just take her out.
No, we love her.
We love her. So our indie bookstore this week is Booktown in Manasquan, New Jersey, where you'll get a 10% discount on all of our books, including Susan's new paperback, Dance Away With Me. And you can pre-order When Stars Collide. And if you pre-order Surviving Savannah, you'll receive a signed book plate and a luggage tag. And of course, we'd love you almost as much as our Mama Geraldine cheese straws if you would pre-order all of our forthcoming books.
Including
that.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Wait, did you just really do that? It's shameless.
Do you want me to do it again?
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah. I like that. That's really good. Well, I am so excited about next week's show. I get to host the incredible Susan Meisner and Greer McAllister. I have not read Greer's book yet, but I've heard incredible things. But I just finished The Nature of Fragile Things, and oh my gosh, y'all, it like blew my mind. You have to read it. It was so, so great. So read it before we talk to them next week. And then the week after that, we're going to have Kristen Hanna, who is systematically taking over the universe and is, I think, #1 on the New York Times and hardback and paperback and #1 on Netflix. And we're having her on so maybe she can just like rub some of her magic off on the rest of us.
Yes.
Toast to her. Great success.
Yeah. Cheers, Kristen.
Cheers to Kristen.
Wow. We're super proud.
Okay, Kristen is in the spotlight next Monday night when Friends in Fiction Book Club discusses her novel, The Winemaker's Wife, at 7 p.m. And Patty, because we can't stop her from doing so, is going to pop in and preview Surviving Savannah. So
I'm going to channel Susan Elizabeth Phillips, and I'm just going to keep showing up.
I thought you meant you were going to pop in and mock me. Phew.
Everybody make sure you have bubbly on hand next week because Kristen apparently is quite, we know this, we all know this from experience, is quite the expert on the champagne.
Yes.
Well, that's a nice thing to be an expert on. And don't forget, we've got lots more original, all things book related, coming up in our podcast. You can listen to Mary Kay Andrews and I interview another favorite of ours, Marie Benedict, the author of the best-selling novel, The Mystery of Mrs. Christie. Wherever you find your favorite podcasts, you'll find a link on the Facebook page that will take you there.
I'm reading The Mystery of Mrs. Christie right now. Another really great one. So Susan, we have a question that we just really love to ask all of our guests on the show.
Your age. We want to know her age.
We do not, a lady never tells, and we hope that Google has it wrong forever. That's what I'm hoping. I'm still 29, so we're going with that. But what were your family's values around reading and writing when you were growing up? And how do you think that shaped you as a writer?
My parents were huge readers. My father always had thrillers. Mother always had a mystery going. So I grew up with books around me. I remember getting train's coming. I remember also getting the first library cards I got for my sons. I remember with our second son, he was I think about 6 weeks old when I had him in the front pack taking him to the library. So we're just a huge reading family. It just seemed normal to me. I don't know about the rest of you, but do you have memories? Like I have memories of going to the library, the public library when I was a kid. Had marble steps, and there were little dents in the center of those steps. I can still smell what that library smelled like. Just an absolutely magical place.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I think we all remember that for sure.
You do.
Yeah.
I remember the bookmobile.
Oh,
we never
can I
had
tell
one
my
of those.
bookmobile story real quickly?
Yeah.
No.
Bookmobile, and I couldn't get to the library in time always. I was a little kid. My parents had to take me, and I heard there were bookmobiles and I wanted one in our neighborhood. Complained to my father, and he said, if you want a bookmobile, I'm 11 years old, get a petition together and go out and get yourself a bookmobile. And my father was very good about being proactive, raised us to be good boys, I think. And we did that. We got our bookmobile in the
Good for you. Bravo.
That is a great story.
Yeah,
That
it is.
That is a great story. You know, that is going to bring us to the conclusion of our cheesy Valentine's Day episode.
I had so much fun. Mary Kay, you did a great job with Spin the Bottle.
So happy
here we are.
Valentine's
Recap.
Day, everybody, from all of the Fab Five, plus our irreplaceable managing
Yes.
director, Meg Walker,
Yay.
and our very own video dude, camera, cabana boy, Sean Hettinger, who is expecting his second child any minute now.
Any second.
Yeah.
Those
So
are
we
the
will
best days, aren't they? Talk about romance.
We'll,
New
we'll let
babies
you
coming.
know when baby Hettinger arrives. But we wanted to close tonight by highlighting all of our own very special sweethearts who I think we would all agree have just a little bit to do with the fact that we have the careers that we do.
Yeah.
So thank you guys all so much for supporting and loving us year round and not just on Valentine's Day. And we will see you next Wednesday night.
See you next
Thank
Wednesday.
you.
Bye.
Cheers. Susan, so good to
Happy
see you.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you for tuning in. Join us every week on Facebook or YouTube, where our live show airs every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And please subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram. We're so glad you're here. Good night.
So
fun.
She was
awesome.
hysterical, but the whole
love
script
her.
was so much fun to
was
play your
so
game,
good.
Mary Kay. That was so
you.
great.
That was so creative.
But here's to all of us and happy Valentine's Day, girl.
Happy Valentine's Day
Yeah.
and happy birthday to Jason.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Jason.
birthday, Jason. Thanks for letting your wife spend some time with us on your birthday.
Oh, you know what? We all should be using our sippy cups. Good for you, Mary Kay.
Yeah.
You did it.
Next week, I'll plan it.
She's the only
That
one
was
whose
fun.
wine is still chilled. She's the
You
smart
know,
one.
I just got to say, Kristen, that for all that John DeLar was blonde, you married a big boy, 6'3". You're tiny next to him. So
I
you
am. Yeah, he's 6'1", and I'm only
6'1".
I'm only 5 feet tall, so I look
You look
very
this
small
big
next to him.
him.
Yes.
So your dream came true.
Right, exactly. He's my
He's probably
John DeLar.
carrying you around like a little Polly Pocket doll.
I wonder if Will's like Todd Wilkins. I'll have to go back and look.
I wonder if
That's
Pat and Ned Nickerson are anything alike.
Ooh.
Just
They probably
Fill in
never
his
described
personality.
Ned Nickerson, you know?
I know, right? The blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy.
Yeah.
Do you know who else I used to like? The Archie comic strips. Do you remember those?
Yes, I
And there
love
was yeah, Archie with Veronica. I always wanted to be Veronica.
Me too. Yeah, I totally did.
Yeah. Lodge Lane, the Lodge. Veronica.
Oh, I was
Lodge.
Team Betty all the way.
Were you?
And now they've made like an updated show about them. Have
And
you?
it's like
I
real
know.
No,
I
isn't
didn't
that
know that.
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah.
it's like
Riverside
Riverdale.
High?
Riverdale.
it's called Riverside, and
I
it's
thought it was
Riverdale.
Riverside.
Riverdale,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
is not PG.
That's so
No.
cool. I'm going to watch. I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's a
PG,
good
I don't
cast.
think.
But Mark Consuelos, I think. And yeah, it's a good cast. Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
never seen it.
I have to say, though, the Spin the Bottle was a hoot.
Oh,
It was
yeah, Mary
fun.
Kay, that was great. Thank you for guiding us through all of that.
That
stuff.
was
That was a
really
lot of fun.
I had so much fun thinking of all the questions, and there were so
Yeah.
many more I was going to ask.
I don't think we
That
could have gotten through
easily
them.
be a 2-hour show.
Some of them would have been a little little R-rated.
Un-PC? Yeah,
But hey, I brought up throbbing members, so
I almost
I'll
fell off
let's
my
draw
chair.
after that.
You're probably going to get us. What is the thing you get
Oh, yeah.
when your show did something wrong? You get a stamp on it.
Like censored.
And Patty, I
censored.
loved your trailer.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Oh,
Yes.
and the sound of the waters. And
Oh, it was beautiful, and the
Yeah.
book is just so beautiful. I just hope everyone who watched tonight goes and orders
too.
it and gets it in your
tonight,
luggage
right
bag.
away, get those
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
Get your book on the first day it comes out.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
so-
always say pre-orders help so much, you know.
It's
Yeah.
definitely been not to overuse the journey metaphor, but it has definitely been a journey writing that book.
How many years
Definitely
have you been working on that?
3.5 years.
In secret.
And
Wow.
just that the information was so much harder to find than I would have thought. Somebody just asked what museum. That is the Ships of the Sea Maritime Museum in Savannah, Georgia. In fact, one of the events that I'm doing on Pub Day, actually, is going to be live from the Ships of the Sea Museum. And we're going to get to show artifacts for the first time.
That's going to be so cool.
Because they found the ship. So there's gold and pocket watches and jewelry and silverware and plates and name it. And they have found it.
What's the date of that, Patty? I know you're coming to Charleston on the 11th.
Savannah
is
is
it?
March 9th and Charleston is March 11th.
That's what I thought.
And of
yeah,
course,
but I want to.
Friends and Fiction on March 10th. But
I don't.
and they're all virtual, sadly. But they're all different. All the
But at
events.
least with your museum one, we'll be able to follow you and see things. It'll be like we're really there.
You get a
And
tour
it's,
of it.
it's not so sad because all of our friends out there who are watching us are going to be able to join you. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people who wouldn't have made it to Savannah or
Yeah.
Charleston or anywhere otherwise will get together.
Get a chance.
Absolutely.
You know, thinking about surviving Savannah and them, it's so freaky that they discovered the ship while you were working on the book.
Isn't that
Goosebumps
crazy?
again.
Yeah.
So
It's so
weird.
meant to
Yeah.
be. One of those
You know,
signposts.
you're
Yep.
intended to write that. Absolutely.
Yep, that's
on
why
the right
people,
path.
and I feel like it was the book that wouldn't leave me alone. Like every time I thought I would give up, something would happen. Like they'd find the ship, or they'd find the name tag of the character I was writing about, or
So
so
crazy.
it was the book that would not leave me alone.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched The Dig?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh. I would
It's a
love
great
that though.
film.
Yeah.
Carrie Mulligan.
It's so good.
Ray
And Ralph
Fiennes, Ralph
Fiennes.
Fiennes. Yeah. It's amazing. And they had to tuck it all away until after the war. But the sense of continuity was so beautiful. And that's, I think, what we're going to get from your book is that sense of
Yeah.
life goes on in continuity.
It's so good. It was such a beautiful book. I was so honored to get to read it
Oh, you
earlier.
guys, I'm probably blushing like my shirt. Thank you.
And everyone gets to read it soon.
Yeah, exactly.
I better be reading it in a couple of days, or we're going to be
You
having
will
some
be.
words.
It's somewhere between
PTH.
Birmingham, Alabama, and and your home is great.
I know. I have it online, but I need to like hold it and like be in my chair with my blanket.
Do you need to do this to it? Like,
yeah, like I need to like smell it a little bit. And I also, you just remember, like I remember like laying by the pool reading Becoming Mrs. Lewis. Now it was very early because I had a very early advanced copy. I'm just kidding you, Patty. But you remember, when you're reading those you remember reading the book. It's awesome.
That's another for our next Galentine's, Mary Kay. That's a really good one. Like, what is the first book that you were reading and you fell so in love with it that you can remember where you were sitting, where you were reading it?
I totally have my answer. That's a great question. Yeah.
I don't know that I can remember the first one. I can just remember so many, and lots of them. I'll tell you, a lot of them are audiobooks.
Yeah,
because I'm in the, I listened to a Louise Penny when I was driving to North Carolina to do a writer's getaway, and I was doing a lot of walking at that time. I would walk up and down the beach and listening to that Louise Penny, and then, listening to Kate Quinn's.
Her audiobooks are.
Yeah, I was listening to the Alice Network on a long car trip, and I was so involved and terrified when things got hairy. I had to pull up the side of the road.
Are you serious? Wow, what a compliment to the book. It's such a great book, but what a wonderful thing to hear.
Well, Patty, you and I were both talking. Well, you texted that you were reading The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And I had told you about that, and you told me about the audio, which was Neil Gaiman's voice, is like Alan Rickman, speaking of great voices. And then you had told me to read Daisy and the Six, and I listened to the audio. And both of those are exactly the same, makes you want to be a different kind of writer. It was so, you couldn't put it down. You couldn't stop listening. You just kind of get in the driveway.
And you remember where you were when you were listening to it or reading it. Like, where you were.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, you're right. All right, ladies, I got to go for Jason's birthday.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Love you guys.